Where removable adjustable strap, it says this chain strap is 14.6 inches long, and then the maximum strap drop on the longer removable strap is 22 inches. So, all that checks out again. Alright, so let's start with this first photo, and this is just going to be a face-on, front-facing picture, just like this. And we can see that the way that this front bag should be laid out is a little flower in each corner. Now, each of those little flowers are not completely shown on the canvas. They're lined up right at the edge. You know what I mean? So if I get you up close and we look, we have that flower, the flower, the flower. And that is completely accurate. And then we have a Pochette tab on the front that says the name and Paris with yellow stitching. So that is all accurate. Okay, this next photo you're going to see, I want you to look at the piping on these two bags. When we zoom in here, you can see that the piping does not go all the way to the top on the bags. It does stop right down here, and then it gets sewn and tucked in. And if you can see in that photo, there's a finishing stitch that goes down each one of these right here at the top on the corners. So we have all of that is completely accurate as well. All right, and then we're going to zoom in again, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at the very bottom of this front pouch. And if you look at the front of this pouch, right around that piping again, what we see is that the very bottom of this pouch should have a line of those flowers that goes all the way around it, and it's just like the top leaf part of that flower is missing, right? It starts right above the center hole of that flower. So let's look at the bottom of mine. Now, let me turn it this way so you can see more of it. Now, if you can see mine, it's really close, but it's actually off just a tiny, tiny bit. This canvas is pushed over toward the front just a little bit more than it should be, actually. So these little flowers right here that I'm talking about should be pulled back a little tiny bit more than they are, because the bottom of this row of the canvas should be centered on the bottom, and you should have the flower here and the flower here evenly spaced on each side. So the canvas on the bottom of the bag I have right here is actually shifted over just a little bit. It's not bad, and it's not bad enough that if someone wasn't very, very familiar with this, that they wouldn't, or that they would notice, but it is something that I picked up on, so it's something I'm going to point out to y'all. Okay, the next photo we're going to look at actually shows the inside of these two pouches. So you can see they both have a brown textile lining. The smaller pouch in the front has no pockets, nothing in it, and then the larger pouch in the back should have one pocket with the tag. So we can see we have that brown textile lining, no pockets in the front pouch. And then in the back one, we have that same textile lining, and you do get the little, branding tag pouch right there. I couldn't think for a minute. Then this next photo, we're going to look at the hardware and the zippers, and we're going to zoom over a little bit. So each zipper should have an L and a V on it. So if we look at the zippers on here, I'm not sure how well this will focus for y'all to be able to see this. But if you can see there, we do have the accurate markings on the zippers. The zippers look like the same shape, the same coloration, hardware color, all of that. So hardware is accurate. And then we're going to go back really quickly to this first photo, or I'm just going to show you the best photo I have of this. But one thing that got my attention when I received this was this chain. So this chain is completely accurate. It looks the exact same. There's no difference there. But I noticed that this chain does not have a clip itself. So the chain is made to clip onto the little clips on your smaller pouch here. And I thought that was a little strange, but that is completely accurate in how this was designed. So this chain will not go on the larger pouch. It only goes on the smaller one. But that is how it's designed. That is completely accurate. Now, if we zoom in here on these little logo tags on the front, we can see they have the branding in them. We can see they have yellow stitching across them. And then we can see they have a red trim. So if you can see that, that is all accurate as well. We have the yellow stitching across the top of the tag. We have the red trim. This looks a little bit brighter than it does in the photos, but this is actually fairly accurate. It is not a super, super bright red. It's looking brighter because of my ring light. So this does look accurate to me. Okay, this next photo is going to show us a picture of the back of the largest pouch. And if we zoom in here, we can see we should have 3 of the LVs right dead center. And on either side of the LV, we're going to have just a little tiny piece of one of those like hollow pointy floret parts that sticks out next to those. And that is totally accurate. So we have the little piece that sticks out. We have 1, 2, 3 right in the middle. Now let's see how well this one is lined up on the back. So at the very bottom here, it looks like we should have about half of a flower sticking up on the bottom. So that looks like it is lined up very well. We can look at the corners and see that each corner should have just a little tiny speck poking up and just a little tiny round bit on the corner here, and that looks accurate as well. So the top should be lined up with those same flowers, and that is correct again. That looks pretty accurate to me. The photo is taken more from this angle, so yeah, that looks lined up nearly perfect. And then I would imagine on the bottom of this one, yeah, this is how that front pouch should have looked on the bottom. We should have this row right here dead center with the flowers evenly spaced on either side. And then if we look at the front of this pouch, it should be laid out the same as the back. So we have the flowers across the bottom, a little point sticking up, a little round edge, a little point, a little round edge, and then the flowers lined up perfectly across the top. So this pouch, the larger one in the back, the canvas is laid out perfectly. Now if we go back really quickly and look at the canvas on the smaller pouch on the front, the top of the smaller pouch should have the 2 round bits on either side at the very top corners. And that looks accurate. We have those there. And then we have the little hollow flowers on either side of the tag. 2 LVs in the middle, and then the bottom, we should have little round bits in each corner. And then 3 of the little symbols right across the bottom. So the front of this pouch looks perfect. This one's lined up perfect as well. Alright, and then this next photo is going to show us the strap and the little coin purse that comes with this. So you essentially get 5 different pieces when you get this particular item. You get a round coin purse with a clip on top that you can clip to your strap. You get the chain, the smaller pouch, the larger pouch, and then the canvas strap, which is removable. Actually, all of the pieces of this are removable. You don't have to use it as a handbag if you don't want to. You could completely pull it apart and use each piece individually, separately, however you want to do it. But looking at the coin pouch right here, we have the exact same hardware, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it very well, but there is branding right there on it. That is accurate. That is correct. This is a swivel clip. That is accurate as well. The front of this coin pouch looks perfectly lined up. That is how it should look. That looks completely accurate to me. And then the back of it has the smaller monogram. Again, this canvas is lined up perfectly. No issue there. Again, on the zipper, I haven't even taken the covering off of this. But if you can see on that one, we have that same LV branding. And then the inside of the coin pouch is lined, and on the back of it there, if you can see, it does have the branding on it. So the little coin pouch is completely accurate, in my opinion. Okay, so if we look at the strap, according to the picture that we have, we know we should have the branding that begins and ends right at the points of these little tabs. And then we know these tabs should be trimmed in red. They should also have yellow stitching around them. We have a slide adjustment, and all of the hardware should be marked with LV. So let's start on this end. I don't know how well you can see it on that little clip right here, but we do have the branding. And again, we have the swivel clip. Right here, that Pochette piece looks lined up perfectly. And we do have the branding that ends right at the point of that Pochette, so that looks accurate.
And this is her on single strap. She hits at the perfect length for me. If you wanted to extend the strap so it could be a little bit longer, you could wear a crossbody. You can always reach out to leather surgeons in Doylestown, PA, and they would be happy to help you if they're able to. I can't promise what they can always do, but they might be able to assist you. So please comment below. Let me know what your holy grail bag is. Which bag do you love that you just can't find? Which bag do you love that you have found that you'll never ever let go of? And maybe let me know which is your favorite red, because I have a few reds in my collection. I have the red with ruthenium, I have the 2012 red, and now I've just added this little beauty with the gold hardware. I hope you guys have had fun watching this video. I know it's just a quick little one, but I just wanted to show you my newest baby, and I'm not talking about Coco. This is, again, the 13 series red caviar, medium, double flap, classic flap with gold hardware. And she just makes me so happy. I know some people watch my videos and they comment, you know, it's just a bag. If you don't love handbags, please don't watch my videos, or please don't write mean comments. I'm just going to delete them anyway, so don't waste your time. I'm all about positivity, so if you are saying anything negative, just know it's just going to be erased and gone, and forgotten. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, I'm Darcy from Opulent Habits. I appreciate all your love and support. Please follow us on Instagram at Opulent Habits. You can also check out our website, opulenthabits.com, and feel free to email us at opulenthabits@gmail.com. We do consignment and personal shopping, so if you need any help selling bags, finding a specific piece that you're looking for, we are the people for you. Feel free to reach out to us. Me and Olivia, my employee, are always checking the emails, and we are always happy to help. There's also a phone number listed on our Instagram. You can always give us a call, and we are always here.
Pretty good, and I'll attach some pictures of what's on, you know, the website and some other stuff I've been able to find online, but it almost looks identical. So we have this right here, the clasps, and this is a seasonal one. You can see it has a little bit of engraving. It matches what's on the website. The top right here, the Chanel, again, it's pretty much matches exactly what is on the Chanel website and some other websites I found. If you look at the inside, the leather zip right here is different than the one that is in the classic. So the classic, you can see it's this sort of metal pull. This one does come with a leather pull, so they did match that. So that isn't a giveaway. It's just with a seasonal bag, they decided to use this type of leather pull zipper. This matches what's on the authentic bags. It says Chanel Paris, and there's two sort of little bolts right there. This Chanel engraving right here matches as well. These right here where the chain goes through, since this has grommets, also matches. There isn't any, you know, logos or anything like that, but that's how it is on the actual Chanel Walk 2. And yeah, I mean, everything else pretty much matches almost exactly. So as you can see, just one final look, you know, they are definitely super, super similar. Now I'm gonna show you this Walks leather compared to my other seasonal bag that is calfskin, just so you can get an idea for an ungrained leather. So this is calfskin and this is supposedly lambskin. As you can see, the sheen of it all looks pretty similar. And of course, lambskin leather has, you know, this thing where it usually sometimes can look like deflated or a lot more depuffed. So you'll see that sometimes like in the pearl crushes, but the calfskin, you know, besides how puffy the leather is, it almost looks identical. But again, leather differs season to season. So if you were actually buying authentic bags, you know, the leather looking like this isn't an indicator that, you know, it's necessarily like a replica. What I will say about this bag is, let me just make sure, it has an interesting smell to it. You know, my Chanel bags still smell like leather, even after I've used them and had them for over a year. This one has, I don't want to say like a chemically or like a fragrant smell, but it just doesn't really smell like leather. Like if anything, it smells like packaging. So that is one thing that you want to take into consideration. You know, the replicas, they won't tell you what it's made out of, but I'm not sure if this is genuine leather or if it's just something else. But, You know, to be honest, if you want a